Welcome back to Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. We got Bitcoin up just a tad bit, 0.36%. The real volume under a billion, around 600 million. This is very typical of the weekend. Low volume, sideways chop, maybe a wick here and there. We do see a gain of 3% on Ethereum, Tezos up 4%, but most of the coins are basically sideways, slight loss, slight gain, not too much to see. Okay, so the crypto fear and greed index climbing up to a 24. We were hanging down in this 8, 9, 10 level for a long time, and people were calling for a pullback. But you know, when the crypto fear and greed index is low, is typically when you see the price rise, and when everyone's greedy is when you get the pullback. So I've been saying, you know, as long as we're down in this region, we might not see that large pullback that everyone was expecting, and we have just continued to climb. All right, so we're still in the fearful zone, but we're getting to levels. You know, I was talking about 7,800, 8,000, getting above those levels. We could start to turn more bullish, guys. All right, so we'll keep our eye on that. And then the block halving, 16 days away, almost 2 weeks. This is the moment we've been waiting on. I had an article that I shared yesterday on Twitter. It's still very relevant. It's basically talking about minor capitulation, you know, acting as a launch pad before the bull market. And basically before the previous two halvings, you did see a sell-off before the halving, and then after the halving is when the price started to climb. And basically, you've seen these minor capitulations happen before so, and you have this quote here saying, during the latest crash, miners were better off buying Bitcoin off exchanges, and it prompted many of the small-time operations to shut off their machines, essentially waving the white flag and capitulating. Basically, the big mining operations can, you know, sell off some Bitcoin, pushing the prices down where it's no longer affordable for the smaller miners. So the small miners, they can't compete anymore. It's just not affordable for them to be running their mining rigs. Might as well just go buy it on a spot exchange. So they capitulate, they're out of the picture. The large operations start to accumulate at the cheaper prices, and then once we have the halving and the supply rate is cut in half, you know, the difficulty in mining increases, then they push the price back up to where it's affordable and actually profitable to mine. So once you have the halving, they will have to push that price back up higher so that they can turn a profit. And I'm pretty sure they have enough capital to do so. Okay, these whales, these mining operations, they're playing games with us. All right, and then most importantly, this leads us to the topic of our technical analysis today, is the hash ribbons flashing that buy signal. Typically, when the hash ribbons do flash a buy, it's a great signal. So let's take a look at that. So we can see right here, you do have the buy on the hash ribbons. However, this has not been confirmed until we get the daily candle close. Less than 4 hours till this next daily candle close. At current price 75.47, we do have the buy signal. Now, if we dump before the daily candle, you know, beneath 7,500, maybe down to 7,400, this buy signal might revert. So by the end of the day, it might disappear. However, if we can close at a price level around 7,500, 7,550, we will get that confirmed buy signal. Now, you can see the last time we had that was back here, and we did let's just go ahead and take a look. So if the price was around here to the top, you had about a 40% increase there. Now, what we can note is you did have a little bit of a dip right after. So it wasn't like buy signal and immediate, launch. You had a little bit of a dip and then you launched. So, you know, could we have the same thing? A little bit of dip to retest support, and then we get that climb possibly after the halving. Here's another example. You had this buy signal here on the hash ribbons. You also had, so it was right around here, you had a small dip and then you continued higher. But in both of these scenarios, the bottom was in. So if we do get this buy signal here, yes, we could get a little bit of a pullback still, but we could possibly conclude that the bottom is in right here. Now, If we don't get this buy signal, then we could still potentially test lower, and you could still argue potential lower lows. However, if you get this, we can argue that the low is in. All right. So very interesting to see. You can see that from this point buy signal to this top, you had a 266% gain. Roughly there, and this is the one that we're all looking at. So you had this buy signal back here, and this was basically right before the previous halving, and this is about a let me see, it's hard to see sometimes, let me drag it on over. So you're looking at a 2,800% gain from that point, roughly. So almost 3,000% from that buy signal there. So like I said, these are usually pretty good. All right, so let's do a quick little breakdown, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. These are my own ideas and opinions on the market. So please do your own research. Trade at your own risk. I am not your financial advisor. And guys, hit that like for me. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the hash ribbons, what you think about minor capitulation. Any comments will always be great. If you haven't subscribed, tick that bell for notifications. All right, so let's just do a quick little breakdown. I want to go over to my Coinbase chart real quick. I had something there for us to look at. Just some easy horizontals. One moment here. All right, so taking a look, we can see, this is a pattern a lot of people were talking about, and it looks to be playing out. You had a bump and run pattern. Basically, you had this downtrend resistance. We broke above it, came back, retested it as support, and then we have bounced. So possibly, it has been playing out. The lack of volume, though, does bother me a little bit of concern with this lack of volume. But using your horizontals, you can see that we have this horizontal resistance around 7,775. We actually wicked up to 7,720 earlier today. So, between 7,700 to 7,800, you do have a bit of a resistance box. And to the downside, you have support at 7,400. This is basically where you had resistance previously here. You can see on these daily candles, you weren't able to close above 73.75 to be exact, but about 7,400 was holding us down. And then we did break above it, and when we wicked down, we bounced off of it as support, okay? So we're looking at basically this range right now, 7,800 to 7,400 for our next, direction, I guess. But taking a look at the weekly, I want to look at the weekly. We'll look at our moving averages. So this level here, I was saying, potentially if we can reclaim 7,800 to 8,000, we could actually be back into a bull market. So if you look at your moving averages where the 21 EMA is, the 21 EMA is at 76.78. So it's not too far off, actually. We'll have to see where this weekly candle closes tomorrow. Very important. But we have been getting rejected by this red 100 EMA several times at 72.89, roughly 7,300. You can see how it acted as support here. It was definitely critical support back here. Once you lost it, we had that minor capitulation back there. So guys, if we can at least close above 7,300 on the weekly, that's going to be a nice step in the right direction, considering we wicked up to it, couldn't close again. So 3 weeks in a row, we were not able to get that close. So this could be definitely a move in the right direction, and a weekly close, whether it's this week or the following, back above this yellow 21 EMA at 76.78 and the orange 50 EMA at 78.23. So, a weekly close above 78.50 is very bullish. Basically the 21 EMA on the weekly, you can say you're in a bull market above it, bear market beneath it. So to reclaim that is very good to see. Basically, we had this capitulation because of the pandemic around the current prices we're at right now. So a complete V-shaped correction from the sell-off back above these critical levels is pretty bullish. And you have the halving. So things are lining up, and the hash ribbon signal. So, if you're trading an intraday trader or on margin where, maybe you're even a scalper and you're just trading in and out, you could still see, pullbacks, $100, $200, $300 moves in between. But on the weekly, if you're a hodler, this is starting to look, a little appetizing. However, we could still get a bit of a pullback, guys. That wouldn't be a surprise, but it's starting to look like the lows are in. So a pullback could be an amazing opportunity to buy down the road. All right. So let me go back over to the Bitstamp chart. Actually, for my moving averages, I prefer that chart because you can see the 200 EMA and 200 simple are slightly different prices than Coinbase. So the 200 EMA is at 59.22. If we do get that pullback, that could be a possible target to 6K. And like I'm saying, that might be a great buying opportunity. All right. Your weekly Stokes, let me get out of the hash ribbons, put back my Stokes and RSI just real quick for you. But the Stokes are turned back up on the weekly. Another bullish indicator as well. You can see that there. Stokes are turned back up. And then let me go ahead and add the RSI as well real quick. All right, got the RSI back up. Good to see. And all right, you guys can see that as well. Cool. So looking good as far as the weekly, looking good. And I mean, multiple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of green in a row. I mean, at some point, we feel like there should be a pullback, but we're still bullish. Going down to the daily, let's go to the daily. Our Stokes are still rising. Stokes are still rising on the daily. And, we're looking for a close above 75.45 on the daily. It's red 100 EMA on the daily. So if we can close above 75.45, 75.50, we could test back up to 7,800 again. Your 377 EMA is at 78.40. The light green 200 EMA is at 78.84. So like I said, possibly if you close above that, you could form a range in here. Otherwise, another rejection closing back beneath, opens up to this range back below, okay? You have support, this blue 10 simple crossing back above the orange 50 EMA. It's coming up at 71.89. But I think 7,400 could be good support too. However, if you lose 7,400, you're looking at maybe 7,200. All right, so going to the 12-hour. On the 12-hour, very similar situation to the daily level. We're having trouble closing a 12-hour above the 200 EMA at 75.40. You have your blue 10 simple rising up to 72.46. Your stochastics possibly hinting at a cross back down. So we'll have to see. I don't trust the price action too much on weekends. Saturdays, I rarely have a trade open because you do have the CME is closed. Where did the CME close? Let's take a look real quick. So the CME closed at this price right in here at 76.10, and that lines up probably right around here. So, current price is basically where we closed at. If we rise before tomorrow, you'll have a CME gap down beneath. If we dump before tomorrow, you'll have a CME gap above, and these typically do get filled often fairly quick, within a few hours of CME opening sometimes, okay? So Saturday, if I don't have an obvious trade, and we are just going sideways with this wick here, if I don't have an obvious trade, I take Saturday off, look where the gap is on Sunday, and go from there. Wait for the volume to step back in with the CME. All right, so 4 hour, we are holding this blue 10 simple as support. It's at 75.34. Wicking beneath it, closing back above, playing around in this area. You do have support down here at 7,400. The yellow 21 EMA has come up to that 7,400 that we talked about at the top, where you have the horizontal resistance right there coming across. So things are lining up, like I say, 7,400 to 7,800 range. Your stochastics on the 4 hour have been coming down, slightly. If we get a pullback, they'll continue down, but these could easily turn back up if we get another leg up. And same with the RSI. It got rejected temporarily, overbought and coming down, but nothing extreme, nothing like that, you know, right there. So you could easily get another leg up. You're maintaining, you know, higher lows on the RSI, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary to get another leg up. All right, so that's that for the Bitcoin breakdown. We'll do one altcoin today. I've been working on a quicker format. So today's altcoin, we will pick Ethereum. And Ethereum, basically, you know, number 2 coin. So if I'm going to pick one, might as well pick this one. But also, it looked like it was, you know, potentially breaking out ahead of Bitcoin yesterday. Also, we saw at the top of the video there was, you know, a 3% gain on Ethereum where others had not gained yet. The 4-hour is still maintaining above its blue 10 simple as well, you know, kind of flagging out. So could we get another potential leg up? Possibly. We can see, you know, we did have this horizontal line of resistance here that we were kind of chopping, flagging beneath it. And then once you did break that, you had a nice little leg, but not too much continuation, not a lot of volume. Your stochastic is turned up on Ethereum. So this, like I said, one step ahead of Bitcoin. You saw Bitcoin was looking like this here, and Ethereum has turned up. Like I said, Bitcoin could follow and do something very similar on its 4-hour stoke. Okay, going to the 12-hour on Ethereum. Ethereum also hinting at a potential cross down, but no confirmation there. And you are above all of your major moving averages on the 12-hour. So, you know, trading above this pink 200 simple is pretty good to see. Going to the daily on Ethereum. Ethereum's trying to close above the 377 EMA on the daily. You can see it was resistance here. This is coming in at 191.85. We were talking about 191 target for a while on Ethereum back in this region. So you can see that it is acting as resistance here, looking to get a close above it. Ethereum's at 194, so a close above this 191, 192 actually would be better, and you're above all moving averages on the daily. Your stochastic, you know, kind of curling around, not sure what to do there on the daily. And then finally on the weekly for Ethereum, Ethereum also has a cross up on the stochastic, and already last week's candle closed above the yellow 21 EMA and finding support above it, dipped beneath it, bounced above it, looking to close above the 50 EMA, which is at 188. You have next resistance is the red 100 EMA at 205. But, you know, this is starting to shape up, looking pretty decent for Ethereum. You know, you're still putting in lower highs, a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So if Ethereum can break that trend, you know, lining up with Bitcoin going on a rally, you know, this is not looking so bad. However, we are looking at lower highs, and, you know, the potential for a pullback is always there, especially after 5 to 6 weeks of green candles. All right, so 18 minutes, cool. I hope you guys enjoyed the quicker, fast-paced video. And we'll have to follow up to see, you know, does the daily candle get that buy signal on Bitcoin on the hash ribbons? And tomorrow we also, you know, we'll look at where we get these weekly candle closes and where the CME opens. All right, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.